What would you do if your teammate, one of the most respected veterans in baseball, was drilled by a pitch so suspicious, so perfectly placed, that it looked more like an attack than a mistake? What if the pitcher didn't flinch, didn't apologize, didn't even blink? Now imagine you're Shohei Ohtani, global superstar, face of the game, and you see that happen right in front of you. Would you stay quiet? Or would you explode with the kind of fury that shakes an entire dugout, a stadium, and an entire fan base? Well, on July 20th, we got our answer, and it's a moment that's going to echo through the rest of the MLB season. It was supposed to be a regular, hard-fought series finale at Dodger Stadium between two competitive teams, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers, but instead, fans were left stunned as the game spiraled into controversy, anger, and a dramatic dugout-clearing brawl that shook the entire league. What started as a tense matchup turned into one of the most talked-about incidents of the season when José Quintana delivered a pitch that struck star first baseman Freddie Freeman squarely on the left wrist. The moment Freeman crumpled and headed straight for the dugout, skipping first base entirely, it was clear this wasn't just a standard hit-by-pitch. It had intent, or at least that's what the Dodgers and their passionate fan base believed. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts immediately rushed out with medical staff, and the look on his face told the story: panic, concern, and growing suspicion. The atmosphere in the stadium flipped from hopeful to hostile within seconds. What enraged the team even more was José Quintana's complete lack of remorse. No hand raised in apology, no gesture to Freeman, just cold indifference. And that's when Shohei Ohtani, who had been locked in the dugout watching intently, could no longer stay silent. He stormed out onto the field, unleashing words not often heard from the usually calm and collected Japanese superstar. "He hit my teammate on purpose," he reportedly yelled across the diamond. "This isn't baseball. This is violence." His voice rang across the stadium, catching not just the Brewers' attention, but MLB fans everywhere as clips of the confrontation went viral within minutes. The next moments were pure chaos. A full-on brawl erupted as players from both teams poured onto the field. Mookie Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, Clayton Kershaw, and others tried to both calm things down and protect their teammates. The umpires were forced to stop the game for nearly 10 minutes just to restore order. Although no players were immediately ejected, the tension didn't die down. Dave Roberts was furious that more decisive action wasn't taken on the spot later, stating that the organization would file a formal complaint with the league. Ohtani, who normally keeps his emotions tightly in check, told reporters after the game, "We're here to compete, not to be assaulted. That's not the kind of game we love and represent." That kind of raw honesty from a global superstar sent shockwaves throughout MLB circles. This wasn't just a dust-up, it was a declaration. But what made this incident even more controversial was the context. Freeman, up until that point, was having an incredible game and a fantastic season. With a .292 average, 10 home runs, and 49 RBIs, he was a constant threat to opposing pitchers, and with the game tight, some couldn't help but speculate. Did Quintana see Freeman's dominance and decide to take him out of the equation? Was it really a mistake pitch or something more sinister? And while the X-rays later revealed no fractures in Freeman's wrist, the visual of him walking off, clutching his arm in pain, was enough to scare every Dodgers fan watching. The immediate replacement at first base, Ha-Seung Kim, had to come in cold and try to stabilize the situation. But the focus wasn't on him, it was on Freeman's health and the message this dirty pitch had sent. The Dodgers, already facing immense pressure after 3 consecutive post-All-Star break losses, could hardly afford to lose one of their most reliable offensive players. Manager Roberts admitted in the post-game press conference that hearing Freeman say, "I got hit on the wrist, I can't keep playing," sent chills down his spine. It was a moment he hoped he'd never have to relive. But while Freeman's injury loomed large, so did Ohtani's continued brilliance. Despite the emotional toll of seeing his teammate hurt, Ohtani stepped up in the most powerful way possible, blasting his 34th home run of the season with a moonshot that tied the game and electrified the crowd. The swing was smooth, the crack of the bat unmistakable, and the roar of the fans said it all. In a night full of controversy and conflict, Ohtani's bat reminded everyone why he's one of the most electrifying players in the game. Unfortunately, even his heroics couldn't stop the Dodgers from falling in a tight 6-5 loss, mostly due to the inconsistent bullpen performance that let key runs slip through in the late innings. The defense wasn't perfect either, with several crucial errors that allowed Brewers runners to advance freely, turning what could have been a comeback into a frustrating defeat. But perhaps more important than the score was what this game represented: a flashpoint in a long season, a moment when respect, retaliation, and raw emotion clashed on the diamond. As trade deadline rumors swirl and playoff races heat up, the Dodgers must now regroup, not just physically, but mentally. With Freeman's health still being monitored day to day and the possibility of Dalton Rushing stepping in for future games, the team must lean on its depth and leadership to navigate this storm. Meanwhile, Ohtani's role as both emotional and offensive anchor continues to grow. His willingness to speak out and stand up for his teammates shows a side of the superstar that fans rarely see, one of fire, loyalty, and leadership. Clear, this incident will be remembered, not just for the pitch or the brawl, but for what it said about the Dodgers' unity. They will not be pushed around. And as the second half of the season rolls on, one thing is certain: opponents will think twice before messing with this team again. Ohtani has spoken. Roberts has responded. And Freeman's resilience will only add fuel to the Dodgers' fire. The playoffs are still weeks away, but if July 20th showed us anything, it's that the road there will be paved with passion, intensity, and a team unwilling to back down from anyone. And as for the Brewers, while they left the stadium with a win, they also left with a reputation in question, one that might follow them for the rest of the season. Stay tuned, because if the Dodgers and Brewers meet again, fireworks are all but guaranteed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the biggest stories in baseball.